Hey guys, it's been a while since I filmed the mukbang, so I'm super excited! I'm currently in Bali, specifically Ubud. And in here we have various types of Indonesian food. And before I unwrap it, I just wanted to show you how their version of a to-go box is. It's just wrapped in paper. Typically in America, when they package food to go for you, they give you a fork and a spoon and a knife, maybe some chopsticks if it's an Asian restaurant. In this situation, I got no utensils. Actually, the host family I stay with was telling me that, you know, Indonesian people, Balinese people, they just eat with their hand. Where do we begin? Not overly salty at all. I got this food from Dewa Warung. I just bit myself. I got too excited. And when you eat at the restaurant, they have 3 types of sauces on the table, but they didn't pack any to go for me. They don't have any pre-packaged sauces. So in America, when you get food to go from like Taco Bell, they have those pre-packaged sauces, you know, like mild, medium, mild, spicy, medium spicy, super spicy. In this fried rice, there's cabbage, and with it, they put a little egg in it. And it's like semi-scrambled. Oh, and the yolk in there is definitely completely cooked. Doesn't look like it'll be a runny egg. Nope, it's a completely cooked egg. And there's little bits of, is it spinach? Some sort of greens. And then little bits of carrot. Most of it is made up with rice. Okay, this fried rice is on the bland side, so let's eat it with something a little bit more flavorful. It's definitely tricky eating this with your fingers, because the rice likes to crawl out through your fingers. This here is Nasi Campur. I had this dish at Dewa Warung before. I also had this coconut pie at Dewa Warung as well. Oh, I don't remember the last time I ate noodles with my hands. I have a receipt here. This is pineapple pancake. I have 8 of these skewers, 8 sauté. 4 of them is made of pork. The other 4 is chicken. And this one, definitely get some of that peanut sauce. I meant peanut sauce. It totally sounded like something else. The meat is a little bit dry, but mostly moisty. You know, before I came to Bali, I was in Bangkok. The food in Thailand was so spicy as well as sweet. In comparison to the average Thai food I had in Thailand, I'll say the food in Bali is not as spicy. Though I heard that if you go to super local places, the food is extremely spicy. But so far, I've only had one super spicy meal, and that was a local place. So the fried noodle and the fried rice basically has the same ingredients, the same kind of vegetables. However, the fried noodles have 50%, 2 to 3 times more vegetables than the fried rice. And which one of these is pork? They're not thick pieces of meat. They're actually lean looking in terms of shape. It's as thick as my finger. Is that pork? That meat is a little bit tougher than the chicken skewer I had. I was expecting the pork meat to be fattier and juicier. I'm noticing a lot of the food I had in Bali, it contains tempeh. It's one of those things that a lot of vegans like to eat. What I'm eating right now is tempeh. Get some peanut sauce in there as well. Okay, so the main thing that I feel the food in Bali and the food in Thailand have in common is the usage of peanut sauce. Okay, let me show you a close-up of tempeh. These little bits on here, they look like halved peanuts. But it is not crunchy at all. It's very... I want to say the texture is like a firm tofu. I'm squatting right now. Hold on, let me sit on my cushion. Okay, if you're wondering what tempeh is soybean, but it is fermented. This here is tofu. Oh yeah. I got so excited to film my mukbang today. It's almost like that feeling before you go to prom, the night before prom. I was getting those kind of feelings last night. It's already been 2 weeks since I've been in Bali. There's a lot to say. A lot on my mind. And where do I begin? I could trail off here and there. I just want to say, like, all these food, it's not overly flavorful. Number one thing I want to tell you about Bali is the last time I came here was 3 years ago, and I fell in love with Ubud. Okay, but maybe times have changed, maybe I changed, maybe this area became even more touristy since the past 3 years. But Bali is not as magical as I remember it. That's not to say I don't like Bali. I do love it still, but I love it in a different type of way. Actually, I think this trip is more realistic because I was here for longer and I got to see more aspects of the Bali culture and the landscapes. Anything you do in life, there's so many dependencies. There's a lot of factors involved in creating an opinion. I have some friends who really love Bali. I have other friends who came here and very disappointed. And also, like, depending on what accommodation you're at, that'll also affect how you experience a country, how you experience a town or a city. If I stayed in Ubud, actually I'm living with a Balinese family the past month. They're very sweet and they made Bali feel like home. Where I stay is about 25 minutes away from Ubud. I'm at a village called Batuan. It's known to be a very creative place. A lot of artists live there. Okay, let's get a generous handful of this time. That must be Gado Gado. How do I explain Gado Gado? I'm new to this. So, I'm gonna have the internet tell you. I'm gonna summarize in a different way. Gado Gado is an Indonesian salad that consists of vegetables that are steamed, blanched, or boiled. Typically, it has hard-boiled eggs as well, tofu, tempeh, and with a peanut dressing. This is my third time having Gado Gado. And each time I had it is a little different. The first time I had it was in a little bit more high, slightly like middle class restaurant. So it's not like super expensive. And one of the times I had Gado Gado was at a street food stall. It was a slightly, well, not so clean, not so hygienic hygienic because there were flies hanging out on the vegetables, and then she would put it into the food I was gonna eat. I was just staring at it. I was like, oh, this is a local experience, so I guess I'll try it. I was super hungry, so I was like, I'll eat anything. Even if a millipede just crawled right by it, I'll just give it to me. Hunger does weird things to people. These are vegetarian friendly. And this one you could order without the meat inside. If you order Gado Gado without the egg, then I believe it is vegan. Speaking of vegan, Ubud is home to so much vegan food. You think LA has a lot of vegan food? You go to Ubud. Okay, so maybe in terms of numbers, LA has a lot more vegan food and vegan restaurants. However, everything in LA is spread apart. So to drive from one vegan restaurant to the other one could take 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But in Ubud, you could just walk around and within 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you're at another vegan, vegetarian restaurant. There's bean sprouts in that. I see some coconut trees outside. This Airbnb, well, it's actually a villa. This villa put their listing on Airbnb. Okay, the main point is I rented this place for one night so I could film 2 mukbangs because the natural lighting is fantastic. I have all windows in half of my room. My homestay in Batuan village, I love it there. I feel so comfortable, and every day I walk out the door, I could talk to a host family member, and every time I talk to them, I learn something about the Balinese culture. But there's not much natural lighting that comes into the room, which in one way is good in terms of if you want to sleep in, because you know, like some people were very sensitive to the light, so when the sun begins to rise, your eyes begin to rise as well, your eyelids start to rise. And another thing is, some of you guys who are watching this might be like, oh, you're talking too much again, but you know what, I haven't filmed the mukbang in such a long time, and there's so many things I want to tell you guys. I don't think I could even fit it all into this one mukbang. Let's have a saute. Actually, let's try tempeh satay. Give you guys a closer look. There's 3 pieces on each skewer. They give me 2 skewers. And this is part of the Nasi Campur. Nasi Campur is somewhat like the Korean Bibimbap, the big mixed rice. It's not same though. It's not same, but similar. And in Bibimbap, you don't have these skewers. No saute. In this Nasi Campur, there's some cut up greens. I'll give you a kind of close look. Those white, shredded white bits, it almost looks like cheese. However, I don't think it is cheese. What is that? I mean, it looks... Mystery. It's coconut! It's shredded coconut, these white bits. Ooh. Oh, there's coconuts everywhere in Bali. Like, my host, he was driving me around on the motorbike, and we're just passing by all these streets, and there's lines and lines of coconuts. I'm just like, oh, this is heaven, you know? This is heaven. But they're tall, so you kind of need to know how to climb it to pick those coconuts off. And okay, so in America, the way they sell the coconuts are a little different. They tend to be cut already. There's no green shell right on the outside. They tend to be cut, and it looks like a rice picker hat. But when you see the coconuts in Bali, they're not cut up. You still have the green shell on the outside. Cutting the coconuts in the US is so much easier than cutting the coconuts in Bali. Because in Bali, the shell is still on there. It's thick. The exterior is very thick. So you really have to work at it. And I've seen coconut cut in so many different ways in Thailand and in Bali. Everyone has their own style. And most of the time people just either keep it in their hand or have the hand near where they're cutting the coconut, like where the knife meets the coconut skin. It's insane. This is my 3rd month traveling abroad. And the first month I went to Korea. All this tofu. This tofu, it just tastes fried. And that sauce, no, it's not the same sauce. I don't think it's the same sauce. Because this one definitely tastes more peanut buttery. I went to Korea for 1 month first. 2nd month was Thailand. 3rd month is Bali. Everything is very based on perspective, because if you come from the States and you never traveled outside and then you go to Bali, then it's like, oh, Bali's way cheaper than the States. However, if you traveled in Thailand, in Vietnam, and then come to Bali, you're like, oh, Bali is kind of expensive. Everything is relative. And the thing is, like, the US dollar is quite strong in Southeast Asia. Not so much in Singapore though. But generally speaking, the dollar goes a long way in Southeast Asia. And in a lot of other parts in Asia too. But once you're in any city or country long enough, you start thinking in terms of how locals view pricing. If a taxi driver charges you 150,000 rupiah, you're like, no. I could get a better deal than that. I know the locals get a better price than that. So you start haggling, right? Whereas if you didn't know the concept of haggling, and you might just accept the first price that's given to you. Let's try this chicken. Oh look, there's tomato. I noticed even with my host mother, when she cooks, she uses tomatoes as part of the sauce. Okay, let me give you a close-up of this chicken. It looks fried. It's fried, but it doesn't have any like super thick sauce on the outside. That's the saltiest thing on here. I'm gonna eat it with the fried rice. That chicken is pretty salty. Ooh. It's like, it's not like eye-poppingly salty, but it's like half eye-poppingly salty. I mentioned this in my social media on Snapchat, on Twitter as well. But if you like bugs, then Bali is very romantic. I've never seen bugs so big in my life. Because a lot of the Bali accommodations, even if you look on the Airbnbs in Bali, a lot of the bathrooms are half open. So as you take a shower, you're outside, half outside. Some people may find that romantic. However, in terms of bugs, not so romantic, because especially if the doors are not like completely well sealed. I'm sitting at the level where the windows, I can see a crack. There's like 3mm crack under all the windows. It's easy for ants to come in that way. And the ants in Bali are big. There's different types of ants. First off, there's like the big black ants, the big fire ants, like the red ones, and then there's like the carpenter ants with the wings, and then of course you have the small black ants and the small fire ants. And actually, like, as I eat this, I'm constantly like thinking, are the ants gonna come? Because sometimes, like, I mean, the big ants, they're so fast, and the big spiders, like, they're this thick in the body, but when they spread their leg out, they're big as my palm. Yeah, so I saw a millipede, I saw a gecko, many lizards. I like the small lizards, they're cute actually. I like to catch the small lizards. I like to put them in my hand and like just like pet them. And anyway, like, the insects here are so big that it makes the bugs in California seem so cute. And actually, I don't really like spiders, especially the big ones. They creep me out because they're just like so fast. The cutest spider I've ever seen are the ones in Singapore. They're small and then they jump like so cute. I don't want to kill them. When I'm in Singapore, I don't kill spiders. I just kind of let them hang out in the house. Actually, I like having lizards and geckos in my room, except for the fact that, you know, they're animals, so they poop, right? So I don't want them to poop in the room. However, in terms of insects being in the room, if they could eat the insects, then I'm happy with that. You know, part of me is so tempted to chain some geckos to my bed so all the bugs cannot get to me. Check out the ducks right outside as I film this mukbang. Look at them nod their tails. I'm just about to change my batteries because this first one's running out of juice. I just wanted to give you a quick little look around of what I'm surrounded by. What I'm surrounded by. Alright, so we've yet to try the coconut pie together as well as the pineapple pancake. So let's try the pineapple pancake. And on top of the pineapple pancake, they put a little slice of lime on there. So I suppose they're supposed to squeeze it on. So let me give you a look at that. Yes. And the back side looks definitely smoother. So it looks like the pan, this side was facing the pan as they cooked it. So let's, alright. Now, I'm gonna fold it up like a taco, like a quesadilla. So the parts with the pineapple on it is sweet. Tastes like a pineapple. If you have a sweet tooth, putting some additional sugar on that, syrup, honey even. Because I'm traveling for long term, you know, I post a lot of photos on my Facebook, so a lot of my friends message me. They're like, Mina, I'm so jealous. You're so lucky. You're really traveling all the time. And I think, just like when you watch a movie, you only see the final product you only see the polished image of whatever you do, you know? You don't see the behind the scenes, how long it took to make that movie. Or people don't usually realize, you know, how many times your flights get delayed. People don't think about how many times you got bitten by mosquitoes or by fire ants. And yes, I did get bitten by fire ants. Those bites look like pimples. It is gnarly. Okay, I've never had that experience before, and I don't wish it upon anyone. Not even to the person I hated the most ever in my life. I do not wish fire ants to bite them because they sting. However, mosquito bites are itchier though. And actually, I think the mosquito bites, they die out faster than the fire ant bites. I got bit by that fire ant 7-8 days ago, and one of them still a big pimple. You know, whereas the other mosquito bites I gotten on that same night, they don't itch anymore. To fully enjoy traveling does not mean experiencing the best parts. It's not like when you're eating something delicious that lasts forever in your taste bud. It's like for a moment, right? And you worked for that moment. To be able to afford to buy that food, you worked for that, right? So there's a whole process on how certain food gets to your table. And even if you think about it, like even this piece of vegetable, someone grew that vegetable. They watered it. The sun took part in creating that vegetable. But when you get a meal at your table, you just think of it as, oh, this is Nasi Goreng. Oh, this is fried chicken. You don't think about the whole backstory, do you? And we do it all the time. It's not like every time you look at a chair, you're gonna be like, oh, hundreds of people worked on that chair. It's just, what I'm saying is, oh, over time this meat, well, it gets drier. So the beauty of traveling is not only seeing and experiencing the good things, you know? The good and bad always go together. When you're in Ubud, because it is very touristy, there's people constantly asking you, taxi, 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 do you want to ride a taxi? Do you want a motorbike? Where are you going? And I'm like, I just got to Ubud. I don't want to go anywhere else but stay here all day. At times it could get on your nerves, but at the same time, it's just part of travel and the nature, the culture of that area. And you can't blame the people for trying to find work. Everybody got to get food on their table somehow. Now let's try this coconut pie. Let me give you a closer look. The sun is setting, you know, can you tell it's getting a little bit darker and darker with each passing minute? Yes. So here we have a very slight gradient. All this in here are coconut, shaved, shredded coconut. Yeah. Alright, so let's bite into it. Ooh. Ooh. When you bite into this, it's a surprise. Because it is called a coconut pie. But a lot of pies I've had in my life, they tend to be a little bit either gooey in the inside, like in a pumpkin pie. This one is dry. More than having a coconutty flavor, there's something citrusy about it. There's some kind of tropical fragrance. You know, some food, the smell is stronger than the flavor. This is the opposite. The taste is stronger than the smell. Yeah, so when my friends message me, they're like, oh, I'm so jealous that you're traveling. And thanks for posting all your pictures, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, thank you so much for looking at my pixels, but don't be jealous because first off, dear friend, you could be where I am if you choose that for your life. Everything comes at a cost. And by me being here, I make sacrifices, right? Whatever you do in life, you're making a sacrifice. And whatever your goal, your dream, your mission in life is, to make that happen a reality, you sacrifice other things. You do more of certain activities and certain actions to go towards that dream. Oh, actually it looks like the pineapple bits are very thin. Oh, there's actually quite a bit of pineapple on this pancake. And you could just eat the pineapple if you don't want the whole pancake. But for my taste buds, it definitely needs, like, the pineapple part is delicious, but the rest of it needs something extra. Maybe sprinkle in some cinnamon or... See, when I first saw it, it looked like an omelet. I'm starting to get quite full. Actually, to really enjoy travel, you need to enjoy problem solving. And like, especially if you're changing accommodation every couple days or every couple weeks, you have to devise a new way to, for example, wash your clothes. My next door neighbors, they could totally see me eating. If they don't know what a mukbang is and they're not familiar with like the world of YouTube, then they would totally be, maybe they might even be taking photos of me thinking like, that's weird, you know? Nothing in this world is really weird. It's just, if you've never seen something before, automatically some people will put that in the weird category. The more weird things you have seen and experienced in your life, the tolerance, your tolerance for weird becomes higher and higher. I think that's part of why I like to watch documentaries on random things, including BDSM. It just opens up your mind to what's out there and what types of people are in the world. You know, what types of people you share this air with and you walk this land with. Okay, last tofu. And last piece of tempeh. I was just using my right hand the whole time, but now I am starting to use my left hand. Oh my god, I'm so full. Actually, one of the reasons why I like traveling is being put in a situation where I have to figure out a solution in a given time. For example, if you find bugs in your room, what do? And what if it's like 2 a.m.? What if you don't have a net, a mosquito net? And being put in all sorts of situations make you become more tolerant. People will judge you according to what they see, not what they don't see. That makes sense. Without realizing, we tend to put labels on things based on our standard. So if it's like, this person is 2 teaspoons of nice, this person is 5 tablespoons of nice. So this person is very nice, this person is like kind of nice. But that's just our perspective, because to someone else it might be the opposite. This person, this very nice person might be very nice to you because they want something from you, and this okay nice person might actually be more genuinely nice because they don't want anything from you. They're just being themselves and being chill, you know? So 5 years later, the person who has 2 teaspoons of nice is actually 5 tablespoons of nice. Well, this person, they don't need anything from you, so they're like 0 tablespoons of nice. everyone brings out different parts of us. And some people, when you travel, you meet different kind of people. And when you meet people, and sometimes you meet people who are so different from you in the way they speak, the way they view things, you don't even know how to react to them. So all of a sudden you're like, you can't really talk the way you normally do. You get creative, more creative with how you explain yourself. Because this person doesn't understand the way you think, and they may ask you, why do you feel that way? And they really question you, and then you really start thinking, like, yeah, why do I think that way? And then as you explain to them, it's not like you know all the answers. You're trying to figure it out with them. Except sometimes they don't realize that you're trying to figure out on the spot. And because the way you talk is not normally the way you talk, or that person is not any typical person you've met, they may judge you a little differently compared to how you're normally judged. I think I'm definitely talking more now than before because I'm getting really full. I'm like just pacing myself, and there are still so many things I want to talk to you guys about. Like one of the things is when I walk through the streets of Ubud, all the taxi drivers, sometimes they'll ask me, where are you from? But most of the time they're like, konnichiwa, or like, are you Japanese? I mean, I'm cool. If people think you're Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, whatever, I'm fine. But I always tell them, I'm from America. And they're like, I mean, where are your parents from? And I'm like, well, Korea. America raised me. My mother, my parents, my city, my hometown in America. Whenever I go back to Korea, and although I look Korean, the way I think is not 100% Korean, you know? I'm not saying this because I'm nationalistic, patriotic to America either. I like to call myself a world citizen because every country is beautiful in its own way. No country is perfect, but every country has its beauty. And every country is always changing, slowly but surely. I could barely breathe. Okay. I think I'm done. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed trying Indonesian food with me. Of all the things I tried today, I really enjoyed the coconut pie, as well as the Nasi Campur. Nasi Goreng is good, but once again, Nasi Campur tends to come with a variety of foods, side dishes, so I like that. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at MissMinaO. I post a ton of selfies. Well, they're delicious selfies because I put my face in the food, so you gotta check that out. I'll see you guys in the next travel vlog and in the next mukbang. Bye bye! All this food cost me only about $11 USD.